What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday night live stream. Today we have a March from FragBox. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I should probably introduce you as FragBox TV because you got your own channel going now too, pumping out the videos.
We do.
It's awesome.
FragBox TV on YouTube.
Excellent. So you've been at that for quite a while, actually. You got some pretty good content on there too. I like it.
There's a lot of content. I don't know if it's good, but there's definitely it's a lot of quantity, maybe less quality.
It's entertaining. It's good.
It's entertaining. Yeah, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. So how's the saltwater scene in Toronto these days? It's been probably a good 2 years since I've been out there.
We're busier every single year
Yeah.
since we've started, but this summer is quiet. Actually, everyone I think in the hobby sort of like if you own a store, you're experiencing summertime. We slow down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even YouTube like views, it like you can see it like go down and then fall comes and goes back up again for the winter. When people are inside, they're playing with their tanks again.
Yeah, that's my theory. It's like it's a seasonal hobby.
Yeah, it really is.
What are we drinking there? Beer?
You betcha. This is like a Radler one today. It's good. What do you got? Cheers.
I got decaf coffee.
Ah yes, going hard.
Yeah. No, I'm drinking a cup of salt water. This is how I water change.
Oh, perfect. So So what's the hot corals for you right now? Like what's popular?
Blastomusa.
Solid.
Yeah, I don't know why in the last year to year and a bit it's the new hot commodity. Blastos and Gonipora, flower pots, Alveopora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with Gonies for a while. I agree with that one for sure.
And do you have trouble keeping them?
No, they grow awesome for me.
What's your secret?
I have no idea what I do.
Just touch wood. They just do well.
Yeah, I got massive amounts. I got like 4 or 5 really nice ones on my display, and even this tank that's full of algae and looks like crap right now. And I got a few Gonies, and they're all super happy. So,
is that why the lights are off? Because it's full of algae and looks like crap?
No, it's because it messes with my green screen if they're on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I warm them up when I'm live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have customers that it's sort of hit or miss. They do really well, or they have no luck and then they give up.
Yeah, I never really spot feed them. I only ever broadcast feed the whole tank. So they get zero special treatment. I do relatively try and keep my trace elements in like a rough mix. Reefroids, good stuff.
Yeah. Is that what you're feeding them?
I do a special blend. It's everything from, I'm going to say, so I broadcast feed the tank. My staple is mysis. And I'll mix in like Canalus or some of the reef nutrition stuff, like the different pods or the oyster eggs, like just random stuff. So I
Are you using the Arctipods?
I think so. Those are the red ones, like the Canalus looking ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just got this for the first time. You know what this is? Benefoods?
yeah, I've had that one.
Any good?
I haven't used it enough to say for sure,
Yeah.
but I've had lots of people say it's supposed to have lots of other benefits. So hopefully.
How about aminos and carbs like the Reef Energy? Use that kind of stuff?
Again, randomly. Brightwell Restore and Coral Color I have on a doser, so they do like 2 to 4 mils a day. As for actual dosing them to the tank, once in a while I'm motivated and do it, but zero regular schedule.
Not on a schedule.
I used to have it on a doser and do that. Now it's just randomly I'll be like, I should do this. I haven't dosed it in a while. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah,
doser stuff's consistent, and all the random stuff is when I think about it.
Are you taking care of the tank like by hand? You're doing everything manually?
No, dude, my tank is so automated, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, I if I have to do it manually, it will be slacked on. Like, as I'm doing like dialing my trace elements, like the Reef Moonshiner stuff, and that happens maybe like 30-40% of the time. But then I have like bulk stuff like the Brightwell trace elements on a doser where that gets dosed daily. But my tweaking stuff is kind of like probably going to say 30 to 40%. I need to get in the habit of daily, but. So do you worry about in the store? Do you do stuff daily, or is it just?
We have a checklist of like for the staff to kind of go through. It's like our opening duties. Go to the store, check the salt is always number one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing we do twice a day on there is check the salt.
Yeah.
And then look at the corals, brush them for detritus, make sure stuff isn't touching, look for issues, and then start testing calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Do you do that daily or weekly? How often do you do it?
We do it daily. We're running tridents, and then we also test again. So like we use it sort of as a reference point. then if something looks off, then we're always testing.
Yeah, nice. It's a good way to go. I'm gonna say you test salinity twice a day. This is probably more important because of how much corals you sell and export from your system, right? So that's got to mess with it. I find most hobbyists don't pay enough attention to salinity, and it's something that can swing over time and then cause issues on top of that. But yeah, you're one of the few I've heard to actually test salinity that frequently. So that's good.
Twice a day, and we recalibrate our refractometer every morning.
Yeah. Do you use?
Yeah, because anytime we screw up, we're screwing up on a monumental scale. You know?
Yeah, this is
It's
true.
not like one coral that we're gonna lose. We're losing a lot. So from those expensive lessons, then we have these systems in place.
Yeah. No, that's wise though. You probably learn over time of which you gotta extra pay attention to.
You see what this guy just wrote? I run 4 apex doses, and I ordered a 5th one this week. What are you doing with 4? That's a lot.
I have 10 verses on my tank, so
Oh wow!
I can't say anything.
Got him in for the first time. I've never actually seen one until recently.
How do you like them?
I have no experience. Actually,
Okay.
Let me ask you. How do you like them?
I think they're awesome. I use them for calcium reactor feeding it, for dosing calc, for auto water changes when I do it, and then dosing all my trace elements. I think it's cool because you can do like 0.1 of a mil, or I can tell it to do, couple, gallons a day through my calcium reactor, or, a couple gallons of water change. So
Like super precise or
Yeah.
continuous as a water change.
yeah,
Oh, that's good. You're
That's
teaching
cool.
me today. Someone literally asked me today, why am I going to buy this over like a Camor single
Yep.
doser? I didn't know the answer.
yeah, the big thing for me is the range. So you can be super precise or you can do super high volumes. The only thing I will say is the one on my calcium reactor, whatever is with the tank water or the CO2, it seems I got to replace the tube on that one a lot more frequently. So I do that one every 3 or 4 months. But the ones for the new salt water, RODI, those ones last ages. But the calcium reactor one, I find you got to be more on top of replacing the tubing.
It ruins the tube naturally from whatever's in there, right?
Yeah, I guess just the salt water. But dosing ones, I don't think I've ever changed them. Calcium reactor one, I do every 3.5, 4
Nice.
months. But
Nice. I didn't understand why they didn't have them for so long. Kind of like, have you seen the Red Sea Reefer roller mats?
yeah, not in
Yeah.
person though. Just photos. Do you like them?
I've sold 2. The feedback was good. Everyone that I know that managed to get one miraculously says they're good.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to meet with some of the guys at Red Sea in Anaheim, and they said the
Nice.
demand is just insane.
How's the?
That's why we didn't see them here in Canada. They didn't have the production.
Couldn't keep up.
Yeah, they were making 100 units a day,
Oh wow,
and that didn't even cover the U.S. market. So
it's pretty impressive actually. Eh?
yeah, I didn't like who's buying all these roller mats. That's a lot of roller mats.
Do you use any on your tanks?
No,
No?
I don't use any. We're just using this. It's kind of cool being in a store because I can roll around and show you every product we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about something. You're like,
And it's right here.
Yeah.
We're using this.
Ah.
Regular filter floss. Like
Okay.
this as well.
yeah. So you just have a big tray and swap it out once in a while.
That's it. Every day.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Every day. What kind of beer?
This is called Purple Rain. It's kind of like a Radler one from one of the local breweries.
Oh, rain.
I don't
Nice.
know.
It looks very dark.
It's quite tasty.
Oh, Chris Casasola. What's up, man? How's it going? I think I met this guy in, where did we meet? New York.
Nice.
It's kind of cool. Meet someone in person and then the comments on this.
Super cool. Thanks, Niagara Corals. $5 super chat. Money canned.
Oh, look at that.
Oh no.
Niagara Fire Corals. What is that?
Niagara Fire Corals. I'll have to check it out. I've seen him on Instagram. That you got some cool corals.
Maybe. My website's down today.
Oh, I sold the photo for the thumbnail off your website, so it was working earlier,
Oh, what time?
like an hour ago.
This is not the right time to do a podcast. Is this a podcast? No. What is it? Live stream?
Yeah, it's a live stream. It might
Live-
one day it might be turned to a podcast. I get asked all the time, so it might be happening.
What's the difference between a podcast and a live stream? Just
Live stream is video, podcast is audio only.
Oh,
I mean, you
okay.
could like play it and not look at your phone and pretend it's a podcast. Pretty much the same thing.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So you're just at MACNA, right? So speaking of filter rollers and stuff, any really cool stuff you saw or stuff that you're excited about?
This adhesive called CTAC.
Ah,
And I know it sounds kind of silly, like it's the Marine Aquarium Convention of North America, and the thing that got me excited was a stupid glue. But it's actually pretty neat. It's not It's not a glue. It's not an epoxy. It's like this adhesive that binds like that, and it's hard to explain. But I think it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It has an adhesive rating of 1,500 pounds per square inch.
Oh wow.
So if you bind two pieces of rock together,
They're not coming apart.
it's harder than concrete. It's not going anywhere, and it's fully cured in 5 minutes.
Nice.
It's just a really, really cool product. Like, you can make frags with it. You can attach acros in a second. Like, you push it into this thing, and I think it's going to be huge. I think everyone's going to know about it. It's called C, like SEA.
Yeah.
Tack.
Yeah, I saw Reef Builders post about it, and I read it. And it's,
Oh, Jake's on it already?
yeah, he already posted something.
Let me see if that's the same one.
Has to be.
Yeah, that's it. C-Tack. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Exactly it.
Hey, anything that is better glue is going to be amazing. So pretty much you'll be breaking the rock before you break the glue by the sounds of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think they'll even send you a free bottle when they're ready, because they're looking for a lot of customer feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And the price, I think he said 15 or 20 bucks, which is, it's not crazy.
Yeah, that's, I mean, more than super glue, but it probably works
Yeah.
10 times better by the sounds of
I think
it.
it's going to be a household name in the hobby. I think in the next few years, when this thing gets rolling,
Yeah.
it's just going to be as common as anything. It's just going to be a regular word we use, C-Tack, and that's it.
Just for like adding onto your aquascape, or, you know, put out this other like wing thing out the side, like all that stuff would be like really cool to have something that's like instant crazy bond.
Yeah, epoxy's kind of a pain in the butt to use. Like, have you have any experience with it?
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Do you know what actually I used to like that I haven't seen for sale in a while? Do you know those little like thermoplastic beads you could warm up and it would like mold the stuff?
Yes, Aquaforest makes one.
Oh, do they?
A poly bead. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it though.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily glue as much, but if you get it to fill in like the gaps between rocks, that void, then it hardens and holds it together. That's where I found it was useful, because you could make like, you want two rocks to be like this, you can use it to fill that void and create that like stability. Or like
Nice.
if you build like a little rock ledge, you could use it to build a foot around it and give it a really stable base.
Yeah, I feel like such a reef nerd, like geeking out about different epoxies to glue together fucking rock. You know, like
Thanks, Tracy.
that was like really the standout product there. And this guy had his booth sort of combined with someone else and off to the side. It wasn't fancy or showy, but people were walking around and being like, "Did you see the guy who's got the new glue?" Like, that's how you found him, because it wasn't like a big setup.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Tracy, thank you for the super chat. That does crack me up, though. Out of all the new tech, you're like, the glue.
The G6s are out already.
Yeah.
Neptune, I guess they already released their A3 Pro.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same as the prior one, with some extra ports or less ports if you're going for the cheap models.
They give you one of these.
Yeah. Have you used it
set one
yet?
up yet?
Yeah, I have 3 set up now.
3 of these?
Yeah.
Oh, you're quick. I haven't even got one yet.
I have the tank beside me. I put one in the ATO container. I basically, once it's down to 3 inches, it opens the solenoid, refills it. When it hits 10 inches, turns it off, so it refills my ATO. And then on the other tank, I just set it up because I have my ATO's remote, so it's on the floor below. And I needed something for the water tester because I have a Mastertronic on there and Alcatronic and all that jazz. So one of the testers, or 2 of them, whatever, they needed RODI. So I have a little space saver container, and I have one of those in there now. So it refills the space container based on the levels. So I think they're super cool.
It's really clever. When I first saw it, I thought, what the heck am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
It's such a dumb thing. Like, you guys could come out with anything. You came out with a ruler. And then I understood what it was. I'm like, oh, it's genius.
Yeah. Like, yes, you could use 2 optical sensors and do the same thing, but that's like having 50 optical sensors, right? Because you can do different things at different heights, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and then even you could use it as an alarm. You could use it to fit, like, it's limitless.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I like new toys and options.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, what was big? Probably forgetting something. There's a cool new dosing container that from, Camware?
Yeah.
So what they did is they built a magnetic stir onto a container so typically you want to dose something, you need your doser, like your Versa, and a container underneath. They've combined everything into this one kind of compact unit.
I haven't seen that one.
Tubes, you don't need to go get a dosing container, you just fill it up, and it's a built-in doser, stir, container in one.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah. So if you want to maybe just add, I don't know, you feel like adding no pops or adding something to your tank.
Yeah.
With this one unit, you're set right out the door.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
It's smart. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dimitri, what's up, Treasure?
I'll look that one up
Dimitri?
later. I do.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I do. Fairly certain I know Dimitri.
He's local. He makes some very cool 3D printed stuff. Actually, he doesn't get enough attention. His stuff is cool. You got to do better marketing. Dimitri, I'm going to give you some free stuff here.
All right, what's the goods?
I bet you've never seen this. It's a caddy for your Hana checker. So instead of like opening it every single time and taking it out, it just kind of nicely presents it, and then this will hold your
Nice.
What do you call them? Reagents.
Yep. Ah, very nice. I like
It's
it.
clever.
Matt, 3D printing has made some really cool stuff for the hobby. It's
Yeah.
because it's like one of those weird niches where it's not necessarily big enough to injection mold it. So 3D printing is at that sweet spot where you can make all kinds of cool custom things.
Yeah, you know, Vivid Creative Aquatics to make the RFG module,
Yep.
RFG thing.
Yep.
Their entire company is based on 3D printing.
Oh yeah. Have you ever used the little light shapers?
Yeah, that goes on the. Oh, the yours. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I made those and I outsourced them to him to print them for me.
Yeah, he's doing a private label product for us right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's working on something.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah, he's Antonio. He's a good guy to deal with.
Oh yeah, super good guy. That's awesome.
Smart.
All right, so
Yeah,
glue is the coolest thing you found. The mixer doser. Is there any other like notable things that were cool?
The owner of Aquaforest is a very notable and cool person.
Yeah.
So he
Nice.
flew over from Poland.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to anytime you go to the show, you know, we sell a lot of these products in the store. You don't typically know who owns it. You don't deal with them. So to really meet the mind behind the business, it was really cool. We shot a really nice, like, half an hour interview with him, how he got in it, how he started Aquaforest, where the company's going, and then showcasing the new tanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was probably my favorite part about going to MACNA. It's just meeting people, stuff like that.
The socializing is hands down the best part about it.
Socializing, that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to reef geek with everybody all day, every day for the weekend. It's good times.
It's cool, yeah, because you're in a room with 200-300 other souls that they get it. They're in it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just walk up to people on the street or somewhere and start talking about your kalkwasser, but in this room, it's like that one opportunity.
It's your safe space.
Just about everyone, yeah.
Yeah. So in the store, I remember you had this big crazy sump downstairs, which was like a sump chain to a sump to a sump to a sump. Is it still the big crazy setup?
The entire store is different than when you were here last.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so these are main coral beds now run down the middle of the store.
Yeah, it was on the side last time, I believe.
Yeah, it was a big job. They used to run that way, and the reason I did that was because I realized by having the tanks there on the wall, I can't have any of that retail space for products.
Ah, yes.
So that's something I didn't consider when I opened the store. I wasn't thinking about shelving space.
Yeah, corals only.
Yeah, and it's a small store, so we really got to squeeze every square inch out of it.
No, it looks good.
Yeah.
No, very nice. So is downstairs still the same setup, or did you change that all too?
Sump is different. There's a big Apex Neptune brain. It's a lot. It's a lot cleaner. Like if you can go back and redo your systems, you know, there's always something different you would do.
Yeah. So what'd you change? So like, what was your do-over? Okay.
You have to fly out here and do another video. It's been long enough.
Next time in Toronto, I'll come over.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah, it's in a different orientation. I wish this camera was long enough. I could just take it down there.
Yeah.
Do they make these things wireless?
I mean, you could use your phone or something if you have good Wi-Fi, but.
No, I don't.
Okay. We'll work on it. Next time in Toronto, I'll come visit.
Are you out this way often?
No, but I will. I'll come out at some point.
Yeah. Where are you? Vancouver?
Yeah, Kelowna, BC.
Kelowna, yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever come out this way?
It's nice out there. Yeah, I love it out there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Rick, what are your thoughts on Reef Breeder Photon V2s? Reef Breeders are pretty like solid, like for the price. Like,
yes.
I haven't personally used them, but I know lots of people that have used them. Like, if you don't want to spend a fortune on lights, like it's a pretty good solution.
They work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot of wattage for not a lot of money. But I find they don't last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find with like a lot of like the non-premium lights, the cheaper lights, like they're all going to grow coral. A lot of the add-ons you're getting is like the better experience, you know, the better tweaking of the LED channels, you know, better ability to ramp up and program. Usually the app is like nicer and not like super clunky and a pain to program. It's like a lot of stuff like that on top of it. But at the end of the day, it'll grow corals.
Yeah, the LEDs today, they're all more or less pretty strong.
Yeah.
I used to use similar lights to theirs at our old shop, just because when I was opening it, I was broke. I couldn't afford Radions. And they had these lights on Amazon. They were $120 at the time. So I'm like, why am I going to buy a Radion for $1,200? I can buy 12 of these for the same price. I'm going to light my whole store for the price of a Radion.
Yeah.
So it was great. They've lasted maybe 3 years each, and then one of them caught fire.
Oh, no.
Like, that's why you buy the Radion. I never heard of a Radion catching fire. Have you?
No. I have heard of the black box. Was it like the black box style? I have heard of those. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it started smoking in the middle of the store, and the customer's like, Marge, I think there's something wrong with the light. It wasn't good.
Oh, you've heard of customer too. You're like, don't buy that one. Okay.
Yeah. But it was very humid in there. So I don't know, maybe it's just the way I was using it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, salt water's not nice on gear. Okay, so speaking of gear...
Actually, that's not a valid point, because it's humid in here, and these don't smoke.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so on that, so what was the point that made you decide to upgrade to the fancier lights then?
Meeting with the distributor of Ecotech here, and he gave me a very nice offer to upgrade.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's great.
He's like, you ever walk into a store and see anything other than Radion? I'm like, no. You're right. It's the industry standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah.
There was I remember back in the day, same thing. I had like the super cheap China light, and I upgraded to slightly better, and then slightly better, and like my other reefing buddies that I had, they all had like Radions, and their tanks just looked amazing. I'm like, it sucked buying them, but it was good after that.
That's part of the reason why I think people buy them too, is because you get to flex on your reefing friends.
Pretty much.
Look what I got.
Yeah, I know. But like majority of the time, the people you see with them, like the tanks look good.
They look good, right?
And that's what sells
What are you using these days?
I have G6 30s on my one tank and 15s on the other tank.
Both G6?
Yeah, I did the upgrade kits.
Okay, and how do you like them?
It's overkill, but wonderful.
Yeah. And you upgraded from G5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. I like it. I mean, there wasn't like a night and day difference, but there was a bit better color, more spread. Like it's just like a warm fuzzy blanket of light wrapping your corals. So I mean, the growth has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm using G5s just on one small tank.
Yeah.
And anything that I take from the G4s and put it under G5, I don't know what it is, but they just look better.
Yeah. There's better color rendition. Like you just see more colors. Like it reflects more stuff back at you, like a wider range.
So what was the big difference? They changed the angles. They changed a couple of the LEDs. Yeah,
so they changed some of the spectrum and is more spread, which is crazy because it wraps it quite a bit. Actually, the biggest thing that I still stands out to me is when I put the G6s on, I have this ledge and the zoas are now growing underneath the ledge on the bottom side.
Wow.
Which I think is crazy. That was like one of the biggest things that always stands out to me every time I look at my tank now since I upgraded them.
It's spreading light almost like you would expect from T5.
Yeah. It basically is as close as you're going to get to T5 for LEDs. So that's the big thing.
I'm about to take the T5s off on one of these tanks here.
Yeah, so rocking the T5s.
I have 60 bulbs in the store still.
Oof.
So it hurts every 6-7 months when we change them. It's ouch.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. So do you think it's worth it to use T5 still?
I did when I was on the Gen 3 of Radions.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if it's worth it. Unless you're doing a full acro-dominated tank. Mm-hmm. There's still some colors I find the T5 will really get out of those corals.
Yeah.
T5 with some reef brights on the side for that extra blue pop, but otherwise, 99% of the hobbies just go with LED.
Just for fun, you should put like G6 on one half and T5 on the other of your aqua tank and see how it compares over time.
So I have a blog post on the site. I've done that in the past, and T5 always won. And I haven't done it since, but I'm almost positive that it would be the opposite.
Try it with the 6s, because like it is honestly impressive how much spread you get out of them.
You know what? It would be very easy to do because I'm running 2 fixtures. I'll just pull one off.
Yeah.
and replace one of the two with radions.
Yeah.
I think Ecotech would really like to see that that video done.
Honestly, like with how much spread it has, I think it would be pretty dang comparable. Like I'm super curious. You should do this test for us.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
Okay.
And I have even some G5s I want to swap with G6s. Do you ever give away stuff on your channel?
Yeah.
What's a good way of doing a giveaway if I want to give away an XR15?
Sometimes I'll make people like enter through a contest, or sometimes I'll just make them comment on something. Or another one I did, which we still have to do the giveaway for the coral, but it was basically like go to the vendor's website and find this code on the page. Like I've done all kinds of different stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Easy.
Because we already used them.
Yeah.
They're a business write-off.
Yeah.
So instead of just taking them and selling them, I'd rather give them away and then.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah.
I would make, if it was me, I would make a video radon related, and I would just make them, enter in the comments saying why you want to win it, or put like some code somewhere on the FragBox website and say, okay, find the code, and then, you submit it somewhere, and that's how you enter.
I like that.
Yeah, Wheel of Death. Okay, so Peter just saying. So another thing I do is Wheel of Death sometimes. Like the name picker wheels? But I do it so it removes them every time, so it's like last man standing, and it's like super suspenseful. That's fun.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
how do you do that?
Wheel of Death is good. Remind me later and I'll show you.
Wheel of Death. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to try that out.
Yeah, it's a fun way to do it. Super
Nice.
suspenseful.
It's good. It's a good way to keep your viewers engaged, right?
Yeah, it's more fun. I like doing it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Pick
How old's
me,
your channel?
Good question. When was Macna Vegas?
4 years ago.
Okay, it was longer. Probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
Let me look. Whenever the ATK comes out, that was
Aquaholic. Pick me, LOL.
yeah.
Okay.
2017 is when I started doing weekly videos. So 5
Wow.
years.
Do you do this full time?
No, I wish. I still have a real job. It's my hobby job. One day.
This is my full time job.
Yeah. See, what a lucky guy.
I don't know how there's I meet some store owners that do this part time and they
Yeah.
have like other jobs. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. I don't know how I do YouTube in this, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I can't understand how you can run a store and like work
Yeah.
doing something. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's definitely could be crazy. Okay, so on the topic of reefing gear, what's like your favorite piece of gear? Is there anything that you really love and you'd always throw on a new tank that you set up?
Biggest time saving and game changing thing for our business was the Trident.
Yep.
We have so many systems, so just being able to look at the computer, or I'm in Macna and I get an email that says alkalinity, whatever. That's been. I don't know how people survive without a controller.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They're okay. So controller, auto tester is your biggest one.
Yeah, controller. Yeah, the whole Neptune line. Have you seen the Hydros from?
Yep. Their new one.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, their new X10 one looks kind of crazy. They have dosers, like everything built in. It's kind of like if you were just sort of like starting out and you just like needed something, it's like, all right, here's your like little Swiss Army knife controller for the tank.
Yeah, I think a controller and a high quality refractometer.
Yeah. Do you like the refractometers over a digital one?
100%. We don't use any digital ones. We don't sell any digital ones. Not the Milwaukee.
Really, eh?
Not the Hanna. I don't like any of them. Are you
Yeah.
gonna show me your Hanna salinity pen?
I have one. I haven't used my real fractometer in like ages. I have 2 of them kicking around somewhere, but I use the Hanna all the time.
Oh, the Hanna did me wrong once.
What happened?
She burned me. It's like an ex-girlfriend, like bitten once, twice shy. It was one time it was out of whack, and that's it. Say goodbye.
Did you calibrate it?
It was calibrated. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just we were just trusting. We put so much faith in it,
Yeah.
and so it was either reading high or low, and we were adjusting based off that. And then someone had the bright idea, like, let's check with something else. Oh, damn, the Hanna's really off.
Oh, dang. That sucks.
Yeah, but it's so it'd be nice if it. I'm sure most of them are good, but
I had no, I find it really useful because this is quick and easy. And then I actually lost it for a while, so then I bought a second one and I found it, so now I have 2. So I just leave one by my mixing station and one by the tanks, and yeah, it's
how
good.
about the salinity or not the salinity, conductivity probe from Neptune?
Okay. It can be flaky, unless depends. So when I first got it, I hated the probe. I thought it was a pain in the ass. I'm like, it never gives me a proper reading. And then I learned how to like sweet talk it to not be as a pain in the butt. Basically, no micro bubbles, so make sure there's not around anywhere that's going to basically put bubbles into it. So placement matters. And the other thing is too, is I don't think the wire is shielded enough. So basically don't put it beside high voltage power wires. And then once you did that, then actually the readings have been pretty stable and pretty reliable. Now I know VCA does make their kit, which I'm pretty sure you just grabbed.
You already know about it.
Yeah, I already know about it.
That thing works.
Yeah.
It really does work.
I've heard good things. One day I'll actually have to get one and try it.
Okay, maybe I should show the people watching.
I just threw it away.
If you're tired of your conductivity probe on your Apex, this will hopefully fix it. At least it did for us.
Yeah, it basically eliminates any potential micro bubbles or anything building up that mess with it by keeping a little jet of water streaming across it. I've heard lots of good things from everyone that's used it. So,
how about for you? What's like an invaluable piece of gear that you love or need or recommend?
I have grown a love for filter rollers because I'm not a fan of doing filter socks anymore.
Socks.
I would never do socks again.
Who's using socks? We sell so many. Who are you people?
Ooh, I don't know. People do it. Like I used to like have the, like a 5-gallon bucket. And I had like 20 socks. You just change every 4 or 5 days until the bucket's full, and then you got to like clean this nasty thing. And like, who wants to wash that? Especially if it's in your house, right?
Disgusting.
Yeah. So changing a filter roll every 2 months, so much better. Clarity.
Clarity. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been using them for quite a few years now, actually. So I have the Gen 2, I think, or 3, whatever the newer is on one tank, and then the older one on the other tank.
Mark Clark says website is down. I know, Mark Clark. We're working on it.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have our friend over in Pakistan looking at it.
He's fixing it.
Fixing it as we speak.
Perfect.
It'll be fixed.
Yeah. So yeah, if I didn't have a filter roller, I wouldn't even do socks. I would just let it flow through and slap in like a big refugium and let the Chaeto catch all the crap so my water's clear.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Filter roller or nothing.
You know the store in England called Advanced Aquarium Consultancy, owned by a guy named Paul?
I don't know.
No?
Maybe.
In England?
Maybe.
Anyways, awesome store.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in socks or rollers or floss. He just lets the shit collect in the sump and just leave it, and it's cryptic and it's good and it's an anaerobic place for all that good stuff to happen. And he's like, his theory is like, when was the last time you saw a filter floss roller in the ocean? Like,
they got a little more water volume though.
a little bit.
Just a little, But
his there's something to be said about it. Like I shot a video there at his store. His tanks look phenomenal.
Yeah. So there is something to be said. If you have like a heavy SPS agro tank, all that bits of crap floating around is coral food, right? So in one sense, it is giving more available food for some of your corals. On the flip side, on my 6-foot Peninsula tank, I love crystal clarity straight down to the end. Like high definition, 6 foot down the tank. I freaking love that. But that's
so maybe the floss roller is more for us so that we can appreciate and see when water's clear, and better for the corals if you want them to grow.
Yes. So yeah, I think so. But it does also help with nutrients, right? Because it's removing that stuff from the water before it breaks down. So it is part of your nutrient export. So it depends if you need that. But then again, if your tank's packed wall to wall, you probably need the extra nutrients. So it's food for thought. Yeah.
There's no right or wrong, I guess.
No, there isn't. And on big tanks, I'm a big fan of ozone just because, again, I love that water clarity. Makes me happy.
Yeah, there's no rule book. People are always asking us, like, what's the right way to do this? And, like, there's no right way. There's this way or there's that way.
Hundreds of ways.
Yeah, I think, like, new hobbyists, they don't like that answer.
Yeah. There's so many different ways to do it. Like, that's one reason I love doing these live streams, because, like, every week you talk to someone different and there's a different way, and, everybody's right and you're always learning. And every tank's different, so it might work on one tank and might not necessarily mesh with the other tank.
I had got a really good comment from one guy on a live stream. We were having poor luck fragging gonnies.
Yeah.
And he said, just put a couple of drops of iodine in your bandsaw when you're cutting.
I'll try that.
I'm like, oh, that's a clever idea, because we would do sometimes like an iodine dip afterwards.
That's what I do.
Yeah, but he was suggesting put it in the bandsaw, so as you're cutting, it's disinfecting.
Huh.
And remarkable difference with how fast the gonnies open, how they look from something so small I got from a live stream comment.
Ah, that's awesome. I will try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always done it afterwards, never during. Makes sense though, right?
What do you dip your corals with when you're adding something new to the tank?
Depends what it is. Lately, I've been a fan of the Polyp Labs potassium salts. I find that...
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, Polyp Lab 1, I think it's called, maybe? No, that might be their dosing.
I think it's the dosing.
Yeah, Polyp Lab makes one, but it's basically potassium salts. And I find it is it's gentle on the corals, but it seems to like hit a lot of the things. So I've used all kinds of different dips, but that's the one I tend to like the most lately. What do you use?
I really like Two Little Fishies Revive.
Yeah.
And it might just be because I'm a big fan of Julian Sprung.
Yeah.
In general, he's a great guy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
He is.
And I like Brightwell's Frag Recover.
Yeah. See, I have that on a doser on my tank. So
Frag Recover on a doser?
I think it's Frag Recover. Let me see. Maybe it's not Frag Recover. Coral Restore, that's different, right? Sorry.
Frag Recover is
There's so
like
many
a
products.
dip.
Okay, yeah, not that one. The Coral Restore is basically amino acids.
Aminos, okay. And then, you're dosing it.
Yeah, but just like a small amount. I'm actually looking.
Dimitri got it. Polyp Lab Prime, that's the one.
Okay, yeah, Prime, that's the one. Okay, Restore is the one I'm dosing. I had to look at my dosers.
Does anyone have any idea if MXM can make Wave and Vortex a child of another? I don't know. I got to see one in person over the weekend, but I don't know if we can do that.
Okay, yeah, so WXM was the old one, which was the RF chip. The new one is MXM, which is for the Bluetooth chip, so the newer Radeon stuff. Now, how the old one worked is basically everything was a child of the WXM on the Apex. So I'm going to assume it is probably going to be a similar thing where they all join up to that one, but I'm not 100% because I haven't actually seen it out. I just saw that.
I think it's very smart that they brought that unit back.
Oh yeah, I knew it'd have to happen since they're kind of like sister companies now. I just knew it. I'm like, it has to happen. They need to play nice now. It's
one of the reasons why I haven't switched over to G6 because I love using the Apex to control them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. How
do you find Mobius?
It has this odd quirks. It's in the beginning it was more of a pain, but now it's actually working pretty well.
That is such a very political. That's such a good answer. Like honest quirks.
No, but I was beta testing it, so I tried out a lot of features before they were in the public one. So I've experienced all kinds of stuff through Mobius, right? Yeah. So like I've had the Wi-Fi stuff for ages, and like I beta test a lot of that stuff. So I had like some things, but the only quirk I'm going to say right now is sometimes I'll have a device that doesn't respond, and I can either reboot it, so just open the Apex and say off on, then it works, or connect to it directly, then it would work. So I'm going to say like once a month maybe there'll be some weird quirk, but I believe a lot of that stuff they're working on fixing it through firmware, so hopefully it'll be pristine sooner than later.
I'm not crazy about the Mobius. We're not on speaking terms right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're not talking.
But I'm going to say 95% of the time I like it and it works well. Yeah. So like even like today, like right before the live stream, I hit my like live stream mode so my lights go white instead of blue so they don't mess up my background, and like works first try.
Do you have any experience with the Neptune Skylight?
I played with one for about a week. I don't have one. A buddy bought one and said, "Oh, do you want this for a video?" I said, "Sure." So he let me borrow it for a week. So I played with it for about a week.
And?
It is a decent panel of light. It is surprisingly light physically, which surprised me.
Yeah, it feels a little flimsy.
Yeah, it does. It does feel more flimsy. Like the plastic upside, they said it was so it didn't break. I don't know if that's marketing or what it is. Surprisingly, it was fairly quiet, which I realize is because the wind is directed downwards towards the tank. Mm-hmm. So it might possibly increase evaporation a little bit, so it could be good or bad depending on your take. I don't know. I don't think I would choose it over a Radeon, but I did like it more than I expected I would. My more like control freak side annoyed me that I only had the couple 2 channels or whatever, or 3, whatever it was. I'm like, why can't I control all the colors? But the spectrums you could get with it were pretty decent, so it wasn't like super limiting. But
yeah, I think for some hobbyists, it's almost better to have less control. It's a little bit overwhelming with the Radeon. There's like, it's a lot of color. It's a lot of play.
Yeah, I like to play though. I think that's the fun part.
Same. Yeah, I like to tinker, but maybe for some, it'd be cool if they gave you both options.
Like in my opinion, there should be like an advanced mode that like unlocked all the channels.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's exactly how it should be.
yeah, that's what I would have done. But yeah.
So you have any new it sounds like you're really into the gear like I am.
I am a full out gear junkie. I have way too much stuff in my tanks, but I literally automate like everything humanly possible. It's ridiculous.
Any projects that you're like going to install or something you're looking forward to adding?
Not tank directly, but my latest rabbit hole, I've been researching like solar and battery backups, and I've been debating making like a very hardcore solar or battery backup for the tank, so I could run my tank almost exclusively off solar or majority of it. So
that's pretty cool. Would you like wire it into a bunch of car batteries?
So I found I'll probably end up doing a whole video on this once I decide on it more, but I found some guy selling like a pretty sweet deal on some 430 watt panels. He only has 4 left, so I'm like, I want them all. So 430, so that's like 1600 watts. So that's like a whole slew of, so that might literally turn into my tank battery backup system. I get that. Battery wise, I've been looking into lithium iron phosphate, because you can discharge almost all of them, unlike a car battery, which you can only do like half of it per se. So you don't actually get the full potential. And I've been looking at these big like server rack batteries that are pretty sweet.
So in the event of a power outage, your entire system would be running off solar.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's sick.
Currently, I only have like my water box, my 6-foot Peninsula. My 2 MP60s are running off solar for the battery backup. I wired it up to my current small system.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I want to do the whole tank. I think it'd be sweet.
When you're done doing it at your place, you can come out here and show me how to do it to the store.
Yeah, sounds good. It's in the works. It will probably happen this year. I'm just planning, and I don't know. I got to hawk some old gear and sell some stuff to fund this, but I think it's going to be sweet.
Do you get a lot of power outages in Kelowna?
Usually no, but that being said, I had like a 6-hour one a couple weeks ago, so normally I don't. But
yeah, it's nerve-wracking, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have battery backups. I have the Ecotech one on this one, and my DIY one on the other. So I still had flow in the tank. Everything was fine. But generator would be cheaper. I mean, it would be, but then you got to worry about that. There is one actually. Costco has one by Furman that's tri-fuel, and you can run it off natural gas. So I've been debating that too, because then I could unplug my barbecue and hook it up and use that. But it's like $500 more on the website, and I haven't seen it in store in ages. So if it shows up in store one day for cheap, then I'll probably buy it. But
nice. You're really thinking about this.
Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah.
But I have like 2 6-foot tanks. I'm like, how sweet would it be if they're all completely backed up? Everything just doesn't miss a beat. Like,
where are the tanks in your house?
Okay, so one's right beside me, and the other one's in my living room.
Nice.
So I took out the banister at the top of the stairs, and I put a 6-foot Peninsula there. So it's kind of as you walk up the stairs. Of
course you did.
Yeah, it's awesome. So good.
I'm going to hook up a nano tank at home shortly. I haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah. Do you miss having a tank at home? Because like you get your fix at the store, but
I haven't until recently. Like I'm here 7, 8, 9 hours a day, so it's enough. It's enough reef for me in one day. When I go home, I didn't need a tank. I didn't feel the urge until recently. I have a nice spot on my desk. I want to set up a little 12-gallon tank in there. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool. Any specific theme or just whatever is pretty that comes through that you want to keep?
I'm going to do one of our. So we have our own little line of tanks. So I do a lot of my thinking at my desk. So I wanted to have one there just so that when I'm working on it, I have the tank also in front of me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be tap water, and it's going to be softy dominated.
Nice.
Yeah, leathers.
Yeah.
Basically all leathers. I want something very low maintenance. I travel a lot. Yeah. I want
Easy
to come
peasy.
home and the tank looks better, you know?
Yeah, it looks better for you. Do you know what's funny? That is, in a weird way, one of the cool things with going away. Because I work from home, so I see my tank like all day, every day. Like I'm not. When I used to go to shows and events, being gone for a week or two and coming back, you actually notice all these changes in your tank, where you don't really notice it from day to day staring at it.
It's kind of like when I put on weight, I don't see it because I get fat every day.
Yeah.
Until I see a family member and they're like, "Oh, Mark, you put on a lot of weight." You know, you need that time apart to recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, but doesn't your tank look glowing when you come back?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the best thing you can do for your tank is go away.
Yeah. Keep your hands out of it, and that's one reason of the controller too, right? You can tweak it where you're going, oh, elk's low. Turn on your elk dose like for 30 seconds and you're good.
It's hard to keep your hands out though, right? It's hard not to touch.
I've gotten better. In my early days of reefing, every freaking day they're in there. Now I'll like once a week I'll go fix stuff that's fallen.
Yeah, I have like the same thing. I'll wait. I'll let a couple things fall, and then at the end of the week I'll go and glue them all back.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad then.
Yeah.
I have coral that's broken and fallen like a month ago, and it's still on the sand bed, but it's growing, so whatever, it's fine.
I have a pet. Something about corals on the sand bed for me. I never put anything on the sand bed.
Yeah,
like no,
I appreciate
no open
that.
brains, no trachees, no skull, nothing. I like the sand bed pristine.
I appreciate that. I did a big overhaul maybe 4 or 5 months ago where most of the stuff off the sand bed, I like either put it at the base against a rock or try to clear it up to have more sand space.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. It I don't know, it gives you like a nice clean kind of look. It's good.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Another cool thing, I know you're going to be mainly a leathery tank. One of my old tanks, I had a 20-gallon Red Sea Nano, and I had like 50 rock flowers in it. It just looked amazing, and it was the easiest tank ever.
No maintenance, right?
Yeah, like next to nothing. It was great. I do like a water change once in a while. It's like a 1 bucket water change, and that was it. Super easy.
That's what we do on. Yeah, I'm just going to turn the camera. We have this little Pico 6-gallon here.
Nice.
And it gets like a 50% water change every week, and it just does everything that we throw in here does really, really well.
Do you dose or do anything, or just straight up water changes?
Yeah, 3 gallons a week.
Yep.
It's the easiest system in the store to take care of.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. So,
not that I would recommend people to start Picos, but it's easy.
So the thing about Picos is one water change basically fixes any issue you have, and it's like 1 bucket or like half a bucket. So there is that to be said about them. I know everyone says go big as you can, but small tanks have their charm.
Pressing the reset button on the tank.
It's like, oh, there's an issue. Okay, big water change done. Everything's happy again.
Yeah, you don't need to test. You don't need to dose. You don't need to worry. Just good quality salt and change the water. You're right.
Yeah. So, would you actually, since you sell tanks and stuff, like, do most people, like, what's the average size tank? Like, do most people go like, you know, like a 70, a 60 or a 90, or is it more smaller, more bigger?
For the Red Seas, the most popular is the Red Sea Reefer 250. So that's the 55-gallon.
Yeah.
We sell 10 of those to 10 to 1 ratio for any of the other models.
Really, eh?
Yeah, and then on the smaller tanks, the Flugel Evo was really popular. Now that our own little tanks, so like 10 to 15 gallons, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so the small tanks are up there.
Small tanks, yeah.
Yeah.
Small tanks are definitely popular, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I really like my 20-gallon tank. Like, it was just like a happy size, and it's
manageable. You're not going to spend, ludicrous amounts of money to fill it up. And
need 1 light, not 5.
Yeah, and I always like the smaller tanks because I find they're very intimate. You get really close to them, and you have to be very picky with what you put in because space is at a premium. Yeah.
I find I'm addicted to coral, and I just run out of space and then I upgrade, and that's filled every single tank that I own.
Yeah, that's what happens. There's no finish line in this hobby. You never say, "Oh, I beat it." Like that's it. Saltwater keeping is done.
No.
There's always another coral. There's always another something to add. It's continuous.
And you're always learning too. You're never gonna know it all. You're gonna be talking to somebody and you're like, "What? Didn't know that? You can do that," and see something crazy. Like it happens weekly. It's crazy.
I learned. Hey, Jake Dog.
Thanks, Jake.
Jake Dog's probably our #1 YouTube fan of all time.
Oh, all-star.
Not kind of. He is. Jake
all-star
Dog.
Jake Dog.
He's in Australia.
Oh, nice.
I just met some Australian, our suppliers at Magna.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this is what they said. You can frag anything. They're fragging scolies, elegances, acanthophilia.
Yeah.
If it's a coral, they frag it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Like cutting scolies into 8s and then regrowing them.
Yeah. I
didn't know that was a thing.
I did a stream with Ryan from Chummings Have Reef a while ago, and he's hardcore into fragging them. And same thing, he does that, and he'll cut them and do it, and they'll regrow back eventually into a circle, which is crazy.
Scary.
I know. Crazy.
I don't have the cojones to frag acanthophilia.
You're it's too expensive to risk.
And it's so nice the way they are. Just take it. I don't want to make a pizza out of it.
Little triangles of color in your tank.
Yeah.
Although if you had enough pizzas and put them together, you might get something crazy if they actually like merge into one.
Maybe you can grab 8 different ones, and maybe you're onto something.
Hey, that could be some new master pizzas.
You got to be crazy or rich to try that.
Yeah, it's true. Mackenzie, do you prefer AIO tanks or one with a sump? If it was a nano, I would do an all-in-one tank. If it's a larger tank, a sump, so I can hide all my gear and it looks pretty. I am big with hiding gear. I don't like to see any equipment. I want it all hidden and pristine. And
So with that being said, what's like the biggest that you would do an all-in-one before you're like, okay, we got to do something?
Somewhere between 40 and 60. Like a 40-gallon, I'd probably do it. More than that, I would be tempted to go for a sump.
Yeah, I would say like 30 to 40.
Yeah.
And then after that, do a sump, get a proper skimmer, get a return pump.
Yeah, makes it just so much easier.
Yeah, I don't understand like the 80-gallon or 100-gallon all-in-ones. I don't know how you do that.
You can't fit any gear on there.
Yeah, where are you gonna put this? You can't have it if you that size tank. You want a proper skimmer.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
What do you like for skimmers? Do you have any go-tos?
I like bubble megas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not top of the line and like the most expensive, but they work. They're affordable.
The Curve 7, 9s, all
like
those.
little monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
The shit that comes out of them is crazy.
Yeah, they're good. They're solid. Those have been around for ages. Tons of people use them. They're definitely
They're reliable. They're easy to clean. They're quiet.
Yep.
Easy to fix. They're just like it's just a good all-around, inexpensive option for skimmers. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, what else do you have for gear that you think is like just solid, good all-rounders?
Any of the big names, anything made in the States like AI, Ecotech, Neptune. We carry a ton of Red Sea. Like I think Red Sea is probably the biggest part of our store. I'm not crazy about their reef waves though.
Yeah.
The LED 90s.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of like power supply issues and other stuff with them though.
More, yeah, but it takes up like a large portion of the store. The additives are great.
Yeah. Okay, now question for you. On your store displays, what do you dose? What do you use for additives? Like what goes into those systems?
Heavy water change.
Yep.
Because we take out a ton of water throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we replenish at the end of the day. So we're basically doing like a 20-gallon water change every single day.
Solid.
And then on top of that, we're dosing and using Red Sea, actually, their foundation ABC.
Nice.
And that's it. It's pretty simple. Oversized skimmers, filter floss, lots and lots of live rock.
Mm-hmm.
We feed, but like kind of like the way you do it. It's not on a schedule. It's like when it feels right.
Yeah. I broadcast feed the tank daily for the fish, but then corals, other stuff, just randomly. I'd be like, some of this, some oyster feast today. Let's throw in a little Fido this day. Like, I just mix it up.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's it.
The one big thing too, because people always ask me all the time, like, what do you feed and what do you do? I watched your video earlier where you had your soup of basically every reef nutrition product into the big soup mix.
Everything in one.
Yeah. But if you think about it, certain corals and certain creatures will eat one thing, but they won't eat another thing. So if you only feed one thing to your tank, there's lots of stuff that are probably missing out, right? That's why variety is important, just to mix it up, because you're feeding different stuff at different times.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, we're doing that, but not because of that reason.
Yeah.
That's a very good reason to feed like that.
Yeah, because I mean, you've like mysis is my staple, but it's too big and not everything's going to eat it. Like I also never defrosted or rinsed it or whatever, because I think all those little tiny particles are, again, just like coral food. Probably adds to the nutrients, but it's coral food.
If you're worried about adding nutrients, you probably shouldn't be feeding frozen and coral foods to begin with.
This is like all I feed. I haven't fed pellets in like years.
You don't feed pellets?
I haven't in so long.
Oh, we do. I'm very heavy-handed with the feeding. I don't measure.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is good advice. This is just what we do.
No, but it's legit. It's real. If you have nutrient issues, I mean, be more cautious, export more, put in less. If you need nutrients, feed more. Easy.
That's it.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Do you like, one of your videos I was watching, you were like dosing phosphates to your tank, like Neophos. Would you rather dose phosphates or just add more food?
I was adding food, but for some reason it's not increasing the phosphate. It's like it's all getting consumed. It's getting used.
Yeah.
So then I switched to which is still feeding heavy, but I'm also adding Neophos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Did it work? Happier corals?
And we have some detectable phosphate. So
that's a good
reading 0.00 with our trusty phosphorus one here.
Yeah.
which is, yeah, it's really low.
Hey, random question. There is the phosphate and phosphorus test kits, I believe. There's two different phosphate ones. Is there any real difference? I've only ever used the one.
We've switched over to only selling the phosphorus, the parts per billion.
Yeah.
So I think it just gives you a more useful range.
Okay.
And you can convert it, and then I think that's the one that everyone should be using.
I'm using the other one, which I've had for years. I was curious because you have the opposite one of me.
Which one are you using?
I don't know, just the Hana one randomly. Okay, full disclosure, I haven't used it in ages because I got the Mastertronic and I just dump in the Red Sea reagents and I push a button and it tests for me, which I freaking love.
How do you like that Mastertronic?
Dude, you know how nice it is not to test? Like,
yes,
it's glorious. It is glorious.
I got a really, really bad review on it from a customer, though. He was really...
What was his issue?
The Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Like, what did it do? Okay, so...
could not get it to connect.
You need to use 2.4 gigahertz. I find people that have issues probably either have 5 or they have the blended 2.4 and 5 with the same SSID, which any smart device will not like because they're all 2.4. So what I've done for quite a while now is I gave each network a different name. That way any of the smart things, controllers, smart plugs, any of that jazz all goes on the 2.4, and then it's happy and it works. So I'm willing to bet that was the issue.
Do you do IT for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
I manage
like
IT.
I'm talking to someone that understands the internet.
Yes. No, I do IT management. So my day job is IT.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's honestly, I bet you 90% that's what his issue was.
What up? Oh, Greg Carroll. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's happening, Greg? But yeah.
It's cool seeing these names show up when you know the person and like, oh, that's so neat.
Yeah, you know, in real life, you're like, oh, I probably saw you at a show. You probably saw Mac a week ago.
Yeah, technology's cool.
Yeah, it is. Is it worth the money? It depends what you consider your time worth for testing. I really hate talking, like I generally don't talk price on stuff because it's so relative, right? One person be like, oh yeah, 100% worth it. Next person's like, nope, not worth it. I'm not spending that. I'll buy, do manually. So it's always a hard one because it's a personal thing if it's worth it. I know that I'm terrible at testing. When I first started the hobby, I was amazing at testing weekly, then it was monthly, then it was once in a while and a couple months. Yeah, and then stuff drifts and eventually it catches up and bites you in the butt. So I like having every week it tests, every Friday morning it tests nitrate, phosphate, calcium, mag for me through the Mastertronic. And then on Tuesday nights, I believe it is, it tests nitrates and phosphate. So it does nitrates and phosphates twice a week and everything on once a week. And I also have the Alcatronic that tests every 8 hours. And this is on both tanks. And then I end up getting a Trident. So now I have the Trident too. So I kind of like to keep each other honest.
And are they in line, the Trident and the Mastertronic?
The Trident, they're pretty close. It's not like exact, but it's like close enough. Even the Alcatronic, I believe, I could try recalibrating it, but they're about 0.2 off. So one might read 8.1 and the other reads 8.3, but they're consistently off. But they also test at different times too, right? So it's,
could be,
yeah.
Difference, yeah.
So overall, but they're pretty much consistent and they're like a bit of an offset. So at the end of the day, like I don't even care which one's right as long as they're consistent and I can see, okay, is it going up? Is it going down? Is it staying basically the same?
Is anything more important in the hobby than testing your parameters?
Yes, I don't know. Sometimes it's fun getting mad at scientists, but there's a lot of times life's busy and you just don't want to do it. And that's where auto testers are your friend.
I find that like when stuff looks good, I'm not testing because why am I going to test? Everything's looking great.
Exactly. You test when there's an issue.
Yeah. And then it's not until like, something's up.
Yeah.
When the torch coral is, there's polyp bailout, let's start testing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're a little bit reactive. There's so much going on in the store all the time. So.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's worth it. I mean, would I spend $1,000 on an auto tester on a nano tank? Probably not. On a couple 100-gallon tank with like a lot of coral in there, it's probably worth it. So depends on your situation and your motivation to be a weekly tester.
I want to hook up a Trident on my 12-gallon at home just because.
Do it. You got a store, you can.
I know, and everything's right. I'm spoiled, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a write-off business expense.
That's it.
Yeah. Is it necessary to feed corals when nitrate's high and phosphate is low? You probably want to up your phosphates if it's too low. It depends on the type of coral. Some corals are perfectly fine with just light, but they will do much better with feeding. Like, for instance, micromusas, acans, like, they are hands down way better coloration when I feed them versus not feeding them. Like, there's a certain corals that really benefit to it. So I'm going to say it depends on what kind of corals you keep.
And these corals eat so much in the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
they're constantly eating. Like, they have mouths for a reason. Mouth is for eating.
Yeah.
They're not talking.
Well, I mean, maybe there, who knows? But okay, that's was the argument for, like, you know, big system, no filter roller. There's more crap flowing through your water, which they can pick at and eat at all times. Where if your water is pristine like mine, where I filter the heck out of it and ozone it and everything, there's probably not too much food floating around. So it's more important for me to add some. Yeah.
Are you using carbon?
No. Actually, I haven't used carbon in a long time.
No, but you're
No.
after like crazy water quality. I mean clarity.
I have a filter roller and I use ozone.
Yeah. Okay. Ozone. Okay. Never mind. You don't need.
Yeah,
carbon.
ozone's magic, like magic. I technically have UV on there too, which turns on sometimes.
So your fish must look like they're just floating.
You're like, what water? It's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. Have I considered Chris Meckley's pH control method? Okay. So Chris basically doses based on pH more than elk, and he premixes kalkwasser and doses that. I don't do it his way because I also use my water in my mixing station for making salt water and other random uses. So I feed it through a calc reactor, just because I like the lazy way of doing it. And calc reactor, you just add a little bit once in a while and you never have to worry about it otherwise. Clean it every like 6 weeks or so. So that's the method I've went. I've tried dosing only at nighttime, but it worked a little bit better for pH. Like, I got rid of some of the dip, but then it was harder to keep everything else consistent. So I just went back to 24/7 dosing a calc. It basically just replaces my ATO and just drips 24/7.
I've never heard of this method actually. This Chris Meckley's method. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, remind me later. I'll send you a link. I did a stream with him probably
It's interesting.
6 months ago.
And it works.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely works. His way is a little more aggressive on the pH. I'm kind of doing something in the middle, but do you worry about pH? Do you chase the high pH? Do you care?
And we're just lucky to have high pH here in the store. I think it's like because the door is constantly opening and closing.
Yeah.
And there's just tons of surface area and these big skimmers. We never have to worry really about it. It's always like 8.4 and then drops down to 8.1, 8.0.
Oh, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
It's crazy the difference. Like, if I have a couple people over, I'll see my CO2 levels in the house be like way up. You open a window, way back down. Like, it is with the door opening and closing, it definitely helps. But it is amazing how much people breathing in your house ups your CO2.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah, even just the air conditioner on, versus a window open, night and day difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's been amazing for my system. pH bounces 8.29 to 8.31 24/7. Pretty sweet pH.
Yeah.
I know. Do you use ozone on any of your systems?
No.
No?
No.
Ever used it?
I'm not too concerned with water quality because we're looking top down at a lot of them, and they're only a couple inches under the surface, so it's pretty clear.
Oh yeah, that's true. Nice and shallow. It's pretty easy.
It's different, but the stuff does work.
Would you ever use it on like a customer's tank? Like, do you? Because I saw you doing the one in-wall tank. Like, do you do any like really big systems?
Typically, no. I try to avoid those kind of jobs. This one, she's just a really one of a kind sort of client.
Yeah.
And for her, anything she wants. But usually we just sell the equipment and then I'll teach you how to use it. But we're not going to customers' houses.
Okay, fair. I wasn't sure if you did normal installs or if it was that one, but
yeah, no, she's a one-off. Like, we do maybe one a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the time.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna put the FragBox name on it, I want to be there to do it. I can't just take it and outsource it to someone else. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Got it. Extra pristine. What do you guys consider too high a pH? I would say I wouldn't go above 8.5. Like 8.3, 8.4 is getting up there, but I wouldn't worry about it. I'd say 8.5 is the roof that I'd ever want to see it go.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right, so new reefers, someone coming to your store, buying a tank, getting set up. What advice would you give them?
Go slow.
Yeah.
Go slow. You're not gonna cycle the tank in 2 days. I don't care what you use. Do your research. Start with softies. Don't get discouraged. Ask lots of questions. Hang out around the store on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have so many hobbyists come through, and I love when new hobbyists are here. And I'll ask older reefers. We have people that have been doing this 30 years. I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
So they ask me a question, and I'll defer it off to someone else. Like, just watch videos, pick the minds of people that are in it, and then figure out what works for you. But definitely go slow. I see a lot of people rush it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's hard not to when you're new. I definitely did when I was new, and now I'm like, whatever, just let it wait for a while. No big deal. He'll cycle.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think there's a high turnover in this hobby. Like, we have people come in every week to start a tank, and I can almost kind of feel which ones are going to be in this, for a couple months, and which ones, we call them lifers.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you meet someone who's just really, they've done the research, and they're going to set them up to succeed. And some people are just, it's very high turnover hobby, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, hey, if you want a cheap tank, buying, selling, getting all the hobbies, your cheap way in for a whole slew of stuff. But
sure, yeah.
Are you in it for life?
Am I in it for life?
You're a lifer.
I don't see any way out now.
Yeah, same here. I'm in for life.
I love it. It doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't feel like work. It's living the dream. Turn the hobby into a way to pay the mortgage. So.
No, that's pretty awesome. Even like stupid things like cleaning the glass sometimes. Like once a month, I'll go and get a razor and like get all the sand bed and like do that pristine. And I don't mind at all. It's almost like therapeutic in a weird way. So
it's therapeutic. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
Beauty. All right, buddy. I won't keep you too long in the store all night, but yeah, it's been fun.
I appreciate it, man. This was a lot of fun. We should do it again soon.
Yeah, let me know. I'm in. And if you guys have not seen it, FragBox TV, you got a whole slew of videos to keep you entertained.
You guys, thank you very much. This was awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. As always, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. You're new, make sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out FragBox.tv.